Eternal damnation is here at Hell in a Cell.
Oh, wow.
Yup,
We just watched Gargoyles.
we did. Yeah, we watched Gargoyles. I have never seen slash heard of this show ever
That's
in my
sad.
life.
That is really sad, Mariya.
It aired before I was born, okay, James?
That's even sadder.
Th- I. Okay?
Yep,
I don't know what to say.
I know. Anyway,
I don't really have much control over that.
yeah, you do.
I really don't, James.
Yeah, you do.
Don't think you understand how the conception process is done.
Nope.
Uh-huh. Right.
We watched season 1, episode 1, Awakening, part 1.
Yes. So we only watched the first part of the first episode of the first season.
Well, it's 5 parts. So, you know,
There's 5 parts to the first episode?
well, to the first story arc, I guess. But
Oh.
each of them are called Awakening.
I see.
Anyway, the original air date was October 24th, 1994. Story by Eric Luke and Michael Reeves, and directed by Kazuo Terada and Saburo Hashimoto.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've said non-white names.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this is kind of like the first time we're seeing some of that.
no, well, yes. Kinda, yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Mary, why don't you give us the plot summary?
Okay. So this is a weird one. Where do we start off? It's New York, isn't it? It's always New York. It's freaking always New York.
Yes, it's New York in the pseudo future.
Yeah. Um,
Spoilers. It's in the pseudo future.
it's in the pseudo future.
Yeah, it's in that future
Uh,
from the '90s where everything was kind of cyberpunky, but not really because it was
yeah.
still a kids' cartoon.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was. It was
We don't really see
really
much about that. We just see that it's
no.
kind of like it's New York. There we start off with like rocks falling on everyone
Yep.
and it's just chaos and confusion as is New York City on a regular basis, but just now there's raining rocks. And like a taxi crashes into one of the rocks. It's great. Um Basically New York City on a regular basis, but like raining rocks. And then we we see a detective come onto the scene, and she's just, she's trying to not get crushed by rocks, and she's trying to make sure people don't get crushed by rocks. And then she sees this one rock which has like claw marks in it, and she's just like, "What is this thing that can make claw marks in rocks?" Anyway, then we cut to the past, where there are two Viking groups, are they?
I think one
I
is a Viking group and one is Scottish.
Okay.
It was
Yeah,
Scotland in like the 900 AD.
right. So yeah, so there are Vikings attacking a Scottish castle,
Hmm.
and apparently these people they gave refuge to some people, and now these Vikings are coming for them, for everyone, and it's basically a war scene. And then night falls, the gargoyles awaken, and destroy everyone. Um, Destroy the Vikings essentially. And then we kind of see the dynamic that's between the humans and the gargoyles, where the gargoyles save their asses, but still all the humans hate them.
Hmm.
Because they're big and ugly, apparently. Although the main gargoyle is kind of hot. I'm sorry, but you know what? He is a little bit. Um.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Um. So yeah, essentially, the gargoyles walk in on like a dinner, And the queen's like, "You guys can't come in here. You guys are ugly freaks. You have to leave." And she sends them away. Um, and then the captain betrays. So two of the gargoyles, the leader and his friend, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
closest companion, go out to scare the Vikings off further so that they don't come back. But instead, they're kind of baited away from the castle, and the castle is attacked again by Vikings, and it's attacked during like daytime. So they take away all the people, and the gargoyles are still stone, and they like smash the gargoyles while they're still stone, so they're all dead. And then night night falls again, and the leader of the gargoyles, Goliath. I should have just named him first. And Goliath and his friend come back, and they like find the whole castle in wrecks. And yeah, and it's like the big no, because essentially
we haven't
Goliath's
gotten
whole
to
family
that
is
yet.
destroyed, and his wife is also killed. His girlfriend, wife,
Companion.
significant other, companion. Yes, she's romantic companion is also destroyed. And so he is alone by himself with his one companion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Essentially, that's what happened in the first part.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little very story heavy.
Mm-hmm.
As compared to most of the animations that we watched that have been very like limiting the story to the 20-minute period that they have, you know.
Yeah.
This was a very story heavy one where they kind of leave it off, and it's like to be continued. And I know this is kind of like a ploy for them to like keep people hooked so that they come and watch the next ones, you know.
I mean, it was, but they did have like long running story arcs in this show.
And yeah, and this is the first one of the animations that we've seen that have that kind of maybe not. Hilda was a continuous.
Hilda's, but that's a modern cartoon.
Yeah, and it's very much a modern one. It's like last year. It's 2018. It's not even. It's like just now.
That doesn't count.
Present day.
But then again,
but in terms
Mariya.
of older ones that we've seen, this one was definitely the first one that we've seen that has a longer story arc. And not even like as though there's like a story, like there's like a smaller story that ends in the episode. No, it's like there's a bigger story, and you have to watch all these episodes to kind of understand what's going on. Because we barely get like a few minutes of present day, quote unquote. Where like there's rocks falling in New York, because that's where you start off, and then suddenly we're like back in time, and you're just what happened to the people in New York? And you're like, okay, that's still happening.
Mariya, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You don't know the deeper lore of Rocket Power. Rocket Power has season-long arcs that develop the characters. They go through growth and change and become...
I hope you're being sarcastic.
I am.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But no, Disney was kind of the first... animation company. I don't want to say first, but like the big one to both put money into cartoons and do these long-running story arcs through the cartoons.
Right.
Rather than episodic, just one and done things.
Yeah.
Even in stories that had like ongoing conflicts, like Transformers. It was still just a usually one and done.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But DuckTales was the beginning of that.
I have not seen DuckTales either.
It's so good.
I have not seen that. I've heard of it. I've heard a lot of references to it.
Yes,
but I've never actually
really
seen it.
Yeah, DuckTales had long-running stories from episode to episode. It gave way to more episode or single episode stories later on.
Right.
But it started out with, they'd have an adventure and the episodes would take them to different locations, but they'd all be
Right.
working towards that one goal.
Yeah, so there's like a meta narrative, and then like every episode would have its own like story.
Right.
But there's an entire there's a meta story to the whole thing.
Right.
Where they're working towards this big thing that's very far away, but like every episode also has other things that are happening.
Right. Whereas Gargoyles is a more long-running story arc.
Yeah, like there's no smaller story. It is the whole thing is like a whole story.
It's not a whole, like the whole season isn't one long story. It's more of things happen and things change throughout the season.
Right.
The status quo is allowed to change.
Right.
As they introduce more characters and more recurring characters and things happen. But on to the episode.
Yes.
The first experience with Gargoyles. Yay, nay.
I really want to watch the other episodes. This is something that I don't know if me as a child would have watched it more. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But like me now, I want to watch like the other episodes. Like the story is definitely gripping enough for me to want to watch this more. And it's also, granted, this is kind of older animation, so it is a little like the colors and everything are still a little dull as compared to newer animations. Like the color scheme that they have, but the story is definitely really good. And I really want to watch more of it. It seems exciting. It's a very different concept. It's a very exciting concept.
Yeah, the colors. Or can we talk? Yeah, let's talk about the colors and the backgrounds and everything. I think the reason the colors are more muted, like you said, is because this is still cell. I think hand-painted cell animation.
Yeah, exactly.
You're usually not gonna get those really poppy colors because you're literally using paint.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Digital coloring. I don't know when that became the norm.
Yeah, and like we can access a lot more of the light spectrum in terms of digital work than we can in terms of physical paint.
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of colors that we can see on like a digital spectrum, on a light spectrum, that we cannot physically make into paint. For example, most recently there was this one shade of blue that they discovered how to make, and it was a big deal because you could see it, like you could see it on like visual spectrum, but you couldn't like actually make it as a pigment, like a physical pigment to use on other and then also another more art thing, the more you mix two different colors, the duller they start to get, especially if you're mixing with white, which is why like even when you do oil painting, at least my teacher always advised me to wait until a lot of it is dried to put in white highlights, because if it was still wet and it mixed with the color on the base, then you'll just make the color duller. And I think that's kind of something new that we kind of see in the newer animations, is that they're not using painted cells, they're using digital work, which gives them access to more popping colors, and then also like the quality that we get to see on the screen nowadays is very different from the quality that you got to see earlier. The screens are bigger, there's better technology, so you get to see bright colors. But I think that with Gargoyle it kind of works, that sort of muted scheme, because they're talking about gargoyles. These are rock things. You're not going to find them in like neon colors.
Right. Plus, most of this cartoon takes place at night because the gargoyles can only come out at night.
That's true, yeah.
So, you have it's darker color palette, use it to your advantage.
Right. So it's stones, they're made of stone, and then even at night, like they come out at night, so it's already like a dark palette. You already have limited sort of a limited color scheme anyway. And I suppose it works well when you have paints and you're just like, okay, I guess we just have to stick to this few colors and just mix it and then remix some other, like just to switch the shades around a little bit. But yeah, the water animation was weird. How the rock.
Yeah, there was a part in the beginning where it was raining on one of the rocks that fell from the sky, and it just the water just covered the rock. It was weird.
Yeah, the animation that there was for making the rock look wet, it just went from a brownish rock to a blue rock, like a dark blue one, because it was quote unquote wet.
Not the best.
Yeah. It's a little bit, just a little weird.
It was a design.
It's just the way that it happened that was very weird.
Yeah, it's like somebody was dumping water on it.
Yeah, when it was just raining.
Right. But other than that, like the animation was really smooth. Solid.
It was a nice animation to watch. Like it was nice and smooth, very clean. It felt honestly, especially after watching Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is really the period where we're transitioning out of the very limited Hanna-Barbera inspired stuff.
Right.
You make it as cheaply and as quickly as possible to let's actually put money and time into this.
Right.
And, they actually got a big return on investment.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it was, I guess another tell for it being a quote unquote wealthy animation was that they had 4 fingers, James. They had 4 fingers.
Oh, they did.
They had 4 fingers.
And not the gargoyles.
I don't know about the gargoyles, but the gargoyles did, but the humans did.
Yes.
The humans had 4 fingers.
The humans looked like humans.
Yeah, they did. They looked very much like humans. I can never get over the fact about how in animations and even comic books, people with black hair actually end up with having like blue hair.
I don't know. It's probably just because black won't pop.
Yeah, and then they also have like the outlines, so it's like, I understand why they do it. It's just so weird to just like see someone with black hair, but then it's not black hair, it's just ink blue, and you're just like, okay, cool, she has blue hair then.
Yeah, that's kind of compromise I think you make.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of characters with black hair. The only one I can think of is Samurai Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah, we have to watch that at some point.
That's definitely on the list. That's going to be a big one.
Right.
But anyway, back to Gargoyles.
Yes. Anyways, Gargoyles, yes. Yeah. What else do you want to talk about, James?
Let's see. It's all great. Unfortunately, I don't know if we have more to talk about if something's terrible. I think we learned that. The backgrounds. The backgrounds all looked really, really pretty.
They were very pretty, especially like one of the scenes where the background was the castle itself.
Oh yeah, the castle.
Suspended off of the mountain. That was a really good shot. That was a very good background. It was a very pretty one.
They actually used like shots, like you could say that.
Yeah.
Rather than just like characters, keep them in frame.
Yeah.
Put the background there.
Yeah, there was shots where there was only the background. There was only and the backgrounds were very good. So it didn't feel like, oh, this is an empty cell, like they were good detailed backgrounds.
Whoever
Even
did the
like when we were
backgrounds.
panning into the city.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
city looked really good.
it was very good backgrounds, very detailed.
Yeah, there's
Um,
definitely a I don't want to say instinct, but probably an urge to just make a block building with no
yeah,
detail,
yeah.
whereas these buildings had detail.
They did. They had very good detail. It was just
No,
very
yeah.
gorgeous to look at. Like they
hmm
didn't feel like empty cells,
No,
you know.
yeah. You're
Um,
not just yeah. They've everything gelled really well together.
mhm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually thinking about it, like the characters and the backgrounds really didn't separate at all.
Right.
Because in animation, you've probably noticed this where the background will have like a crazy amount of detail, but when
Right.
a character interacts with it, it loses all that detail
Right, yeah.
because it's now either a cell or a part of the background. I don't think that
Right,
happens that
right.
much anymore because of digital,
Mhm.
but before now it's a cell that we have to move and manipulate, so we can't
Right, right.
spend 5 hours detailing it.
Right.
But in this show, the backgrounds and the characters seem to meld well together.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was a disconnect in the middle. It
hmm
was very smooth transitioning from like for example when one of the gargoyles was like peeling that algae stuff
Oh God, yeah.
off of the pillar. Like I think earlier it was just part of the background and then it became part of the cell.
hmm
And it didn't look bad. You know, it didn't
No,
look like they had to redraw on the background to make it part of the yeah.
yeah,
Um, and it was
um,
very very smooth.
yeah. I think. Do you remember when the dog one like ripped a part of the background or the stone wall off?
Yes,
I think they
yes.
actually repainted the background and put it in there
Oh.
rather than like put a cell in where the
Mhm.
thing
Mhm.
where he attacked. I could be
Right,
wrong on
right.
that, but it looked really smooth.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, no, it's just a very nice animation to look
hmm
at. Even story-wise, I think that I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
if they were trying to do it, but there was some amount of social commentary going on.
there was. It's '90s social commentary
Right.
where we're using. I guess we still use allegory a lot,
Right.
especially
Right.
now with like Steven Universe and Adventure Time and all that.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, they were definitely trying to say something. I don't know how successful it was. You're probably better at that than me.
I mean, it was like I noticed it. It was very, very evidently there, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know, because I don't know what society was like over here in the United States, um, during that time period, because I'm not from here, but what I do know is that it to me it was evident at least even now we can kind of you can switch around whichever label you want to put on the gargoyle
hmm
on the gargoyles, like there's always a group that you could switch the label with and put it on the gargoyle and you can see that yeah, this happens even today, you know, like there are still people who would experience somehow the same sort of thing that these gargoyles were, you know, were facing, especially when they kind of walk into um the dining hall, or the scene where where the kid kind of like walks up to them and the mother's like, get back off, you're gonna eat my child, blah blah blah, you
Yeah.
know, like but you know, instead of eating you could put any other word there, like you'll
hmm
corrupt my child, pervert my child, etc etc, you know, like
hmm
there's you can those labels are switchable, and the gargoyles could be any insert discriminated group here, you know.
hmm Yeah.
But
It's
and
yeah.
that's what I don't know if that was their intention then, but today it still makes relevant sense. It's still relevant to some aspects of society today. And I mean, there might be people out there who do not agree with that, but it's still there.
I think they'll agree that it's still relevant, but it's still 90s tackling racism.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little more crude. I don't know if that's the right word, but
yeah, no, it's crude.
but it's still there. Like, you can still switch around some of the titles, and you could still see what they were going for. Again, I don't know if they were actually trying to go for this, and if it's just, me reading into it.
I'm pretty sure there were, because one of the Gargoyles, one of the series doesn't have creators, unfortunately, but one of the showrunners or production people said that one of the Gargoyles was supposed to come out as gay in one of the seasons. Which in the 90s that would have never happened.
Right.
Unfortunate fact of life. Now we have gay characters everywhere, and it's great.
And we love them.
Yes, we will do She-Ra eventually.
We will. Yeah, that was a fun show to watch too.
But anyway.
But yeah, no, the story, like, story-wise, was also very, very gripping. Like, yes. I dreaded the to be continued sign. Yes. As a child, when you're like watching a very good episode, and then like the to be continued comes, and you're just like, no.
Yeah.
I need more.
I need more.
How dare you? Now I have to wait a week.
I've seen this episode a few times, and I still forgot about the twist. With the guy betraying them. Right.
Yeah, that was I still didn't get it. I feel like I would have to watch it. Like, what happened? Was he upset because of did he turn because they were mean to the gargoyles? Yes. I don't think so, right?
No, yes, that's why.
But then he also let the people destroy them.
Yes. Because he doesn't like them. He thinks they're monsters.
Oh. I see.
There's layers, Mariya.
So he was evil all along.
I mean, define evil.
I mean, he had ill intentions all along.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Maybe.
Then why does he go and defend, like, the gargoyles and everything? It's
he
just
likes
sad.
The gargoyles. That's the thing.
Okay.
He identifies more with the gargoyles.
Right. But he also let the guy destroy the gargoyles, though.
Well, he didn't. He was like, you either die or you can live.
Oh.
Yeah.
Poor man.
Yeah, he kind of got screwed. But,
yeah,
well, it was his own fault, but...
I mean, yeah, a little bit.
There's something in there.
Also, the guy with the white hair, I don't like him. He's
the wizard?
I don't like him. Yeah, the wizard man.
Yeah, he shows up again.
I bet.
You don't have to worry
we still
about
don't know what he was rifling through in that book.
Mm-hmm.
In that book of his.
Mm-hmm.
In that weird book of his.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Lots of women.
Yes, there were quite a few, actually.
As a woman yourself.
Yeah, I feel like I wish there were more gargoyle women. That we just got to see one of them.
Yeah, that never changes.
Oh man.
I mean, they're all dead, so you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but like, she was a cool character. And you know, she kind of plays the very stereotypical person in the team who has like the very hot-blooded person, which is stereotypically played by a male person. But I'm glad it wasn't this time.
Yeah, you're right.
And like, I can understand her point of view in this sort of situation. But also it takes a lot of patience to deal with everything the way that Goliath was dealing with them.
Right. He's the very kind of Martin Luther King, you know. Let's help them, and or not help them, but let's be patient, and things will work out. Or she's the Malcolm X, where she's like, they came in and they took our home, so why are we helping them?
Right.
There's something there, but we're too dumb to figure it out.
Right.
Also, detective lady.
Yeah, no, the detective lady was kind of cool too. I wanted to see more of her.
I mean, she's the main character. I'll spoil that
Yeah,
for you.
yeah. I mean, that's what I expected when I saw like the Goliath saving her. But I feel like is she gonna be future love interest? I have a feeling.
No.
God damn it!
Well,
But
the
no, that makes
gargoyles
sense.
don't care. They're gargoyles.
They're gargoyles.
They don't
Yes.
love humans. They like
You
them.
don't know that.
I mean, the show. Anyway. Anyway. And then the queen. No king.
Yeah, it was just a queen.
Which
Which was also
interesting.
very interesting. But a very close-minded queen.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and then she also got betrayed, so, I mean, how effective was she anyway?
Right.
You know, it was like, yes, it's a female queen. And I mean, I'm glad for that, but also, like, she failed. She didn't do a very good job of controlling
That's true.
her kingdom or castle or whatever. She didn't run a tight ship. Let's just leave it at that.
She's more of a Cersei than a Dany.
Yeah.
Book
a little
Dany, not
Yes.
not
Yes.
TV show Dany.
I know. Yeah, like I said, she's not exactly running a tight ship in there.
No.
But it's good to see though.
Yeah.
It's good to see that. We also saw the mom, the very, very mom, you know, and you see those kinds of moms
Oh, that
everywhere.
mom, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the white lady mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to speak to your manager, mom.
Yes. Definitely. If she were alive today, she would definitely be one of those people.
Yeah, the entitled parent.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I kind of, like, not to shit on her, because we were shitting on her anyway. Like, she just wants to keep her child safe, you know? It's
I
like,
guess she is a refugee. And
yeah.
anyway.
And she did just see the gargoyles, like, destroy other humans, so it's like,
That's true.
do I really want my kid to hang out with these?
The gargoyles could have been better with that too.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was a poor PR move, to say the least.
Very poor.
It was like, oh, if they want to see us as monsters, we'll be monsters then. I mean, that's not how it works. That's not how you change the narrative.
I was really hoping that they'd be nice to the kid, and then the kid would be like, "Hey, you guys are really neato," and and then you'd see the girl who was watching them be like, smile a little.
Yeah.
And then the mom comes in and does that.
Yeah. It's kind of like a very, whenever there's a confrontation of two different groups, not naming either of them, but like any groups that have somewhat of a rough history with each other.
AKA everybody versus white people.
Yes, and don't want to alienate all the white people in one go, James.
They deserve it. They know what they did.
For the record, James is a white person, so he gets to say that stuff.
I am a white people.
Anyway, but yeah, like two groups with sort of a rough history kind of have a confrontation. Anything that is perceived in any kind of threat just leads to the situation escalating so much more than it needs to be. And that's just how it is. And in a situation like that, you really need to be very careful with what you say and how you say it, lest it turn into a media spectacle. Like most other sort of escalated situations become, you know.
That sounds like blaming the victim, Mariya.
I'm not saying blaming the victim. I'm not saying whose side. I'm not talking about who should be careful. I'm talking about both should be careful.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that anything that either side does, nobody's the victim in this situation. Anything that either side does both need to tread carefully, essentially, or it will escalate.
Right.
We shouldn't have to, And ideally we shouldn't have to. Nobody should have to be like, everyone should be able to say whatever the hell they want, but again,
we don't live in that world.
Yeah, it's not an ideal world.
No.
And it's just, both the responses from the gargoyle and the mother were both such responses that led to the whole thing escalating. And needing Goliath to kind of like come in the middle and kind of banish these two into the roost?
The rookery.
The rookery. That's what it was.
Which is underground?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? I mean, if they're gargoyle eggs and they need to hatch, then they probably do better in the dark, don't you think?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, definitely not saying that I'm not calling anyone the victim here. I'm just saying that it escalates very quickly, so everyone needs to be careful. Just everyone be careful. Just everyone.
Okay.
No one person, just everyone.
I think that's a good message. I think. We'll find out.
We'll find out. We'll see how badly this blows up.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's fine.
Any thoughts? Last minute thoughts? Because I think we got
I just thought it was a really fun episode.
Yeah.
Very gripping.
Mm-hmm.
So James, out of 4, how many fingers?
Oh, definitely 4.
Yeah, me too. I think I'd give it 4.
It's a great show.
Yeah, it was entertaining. The color palette was nice to look at, especially, and made sense to the time and also the story.
Yes.
And the animations were nice and smooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
All in all,
Great.
A very, very nice episode.
Yeah, and a good discussion.
Yeah, it was.
I think we're done. Mariya, what are we watching next time?
What are we watching next time?
I'm asking you because I already know what we're watching next time.
I don't know. What are we watching, James?
We're going to dip into adult animation, Mariya.
Oh my god. This is going to be great.
Actually, it will be. I picked a good show.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay. I believe you.
Okay. We're gonna watch an episode of Mission Hill.
Never heard of it.
I know you didn't because it's a long forgotten show, which is unfortunate because it's actually really, really good.
Okay. Cool. This is gonna be fun.
It will be.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.